Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having a very magical day. This has got to be my most frequently requested video and it is way overdue. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how and why I moved out here to Florida, the process of moving from England to Florida, the ins and the outs of living in Florida, and just an overall Q&A, get to know me a little bit better than you already do. I have got the questions all lined up here, ready to be answered, but before we get into the video and answer the questions, I'm gonna go and make myself a nice iced coffee to have whilst I answer the questions. So go and make yourself a cup of tea, cup of coffee, matcha, whatever drink you fancy, so we can sit down and have a good old chat together. That is a good iced coffee. Okay, let's get into it. I am going to start off with the main question that does get asked to me in majority of videos that I post over on TikTok and comments that I get on YouTube, comments I've received on Instagram or DMs in Instagram, which is, how did I move to Florida as a British person? Of course, going into this, I want to give you a disclaimer that it definitely is not an easy process to move out of the United Kingdom, especially into a place like the United States of America, or Australia can also be another difficult place in terms of getting a visa, getting a green card, etc. I just want to put that out there before I start, that it is a very difficult process, and I know I post about living here all the time, but it wasn't as easy as just getting a Costco card and like nipping into Costco and being like, right, okay, you know, I'm getting it and I'm gonna just go into Florida. First things first, let's talk about my family who live out here, because then that unravels and kind of goes into how I was able to move out here and how I live over here now. So my grandparents, my nan and granddad, moved out here originally on a company visa, which allows them to work for the company in which they established, for that company only. Company in which they opened up and established for themselves is a property management company. That's how they moved out here. They are in property management, they own their own company, hence why they have the company visa. My mum also lives out here with me. She's also from England. You would have seen her in maybe a couple of past videos that I've done. My mum is now a dual citizen, so she has both citizenship for the United Kingdom and the United States of America. She got her citizenship through marriage, so her husband is from Florida. That's how she managed to get her green card. So my mum was a green card holder. Once you've been a green card holder for 5 years, you are then able to apply for citizenship. With citizenship, what you are then able to do, which then leads on to me talking about how I'm out here now, with your citizenship, you are then able to sponsor your next of kin, so like your children or your parents. You aren't able to sponsor kind of any cousins, siblings, anything like that. You aren't able to sponsor, unfortunately. But with my mum being a citizen and me being her next of kin, that was how I was able to get sponsored for a green card. That is the status in which I have over here, which is just incredible, and I feel so lucky that I'm able to do that, because like I've mentioned, it isn't easy. It's not an easy process at all. It is kind of how potluck works and stuff like that. If you can find the right company, invest in the right money into certain things. I don't know like the ins and the outs of every single way that are able to move out here, but that is just the way in which my family did it and how they are able to live out here and how they moved out here. Also forgot to mention, so once you're a citizen, as well as sponsoring your guardian's parents or your children, you can also sponsor a spouse, wife, husband. You can sponsor them as well. Now that I've spoken about the how I moved out to the United States from England, let's go on to why I did it. I truly believe that people have places in the world in which they shine brighter. I know that I'm from England, I'm quite a northern lass, broad northern, proud to be British type thing, but saying that, I personally, and you know, that's not onto anyone who loves living in England and that's where they shine. Like I said, everyone shines brightly in different places, and for me, I just found that I was able to shine brighter living over here, more so than living in England. I felt like I was able to sparkle more, be myself more, I lit up more whenever I was over here. And given the fact that I do have family out here, that was also kind of a drawing factor into moving out here. I do have family in England as well. So my dad's in England, my sister's in England, I've got other grandparents in England, got like my niece and my nephew in England. I've got basically half and half. I've got my mum's immediate side of the family over here, and then my dad's immediate side of the family in England. So I do have the best of both worlds. Another factor into why I moved out here, a big factor, was the weather. The older I was getting, the more I was realising that seasonal depression is definitely a thing. I don't want to say I was like miserable all the time in England, because that definitely wasn't the case. But being in quite gloomy weather, quite like cloudy, rainy, cold weather, I didn't thrive in that. Again, people thrive in different environments and that is absolutely fine. It's each to their own. But for me personally, I love going to the beach. I love going to the water parks. I love going to the theme parks. And I love the weather being as hot as it is over here and being able to do my hot girl walks whilst it's sunny out. I can wear shorts and a t-shirt, and for me, that's just the life to live. This is all just personal reasons as to why I moved out here, and everyone has different opinions on places, and that is absolutely fine. I just didn't feel like I fit in with the lifestyle of England. I'm much more of a theme park person and a Disney person, and you know that was a factor into why I moved out here. And I won't lie, because in my head I was like, there's more things that I love doing in Florida. There's more things that light me up and my personality up, and I feel like I can be myself more over here than maybe I was allowing myself to be in England. I was just able to let myself out more and let myself shine more than I did in England. And of course, everyone has different things that they love in life and things that they are passionate and enthusiastic about. For me, since I was little, it has been Disney, it has been the theme parks. I've always said that just my ideal day out is theme parks, things that bring me adrenaline. I'm such an adrenaline junkie. I love anything that just brings me excitement. Florida has got that. Florida has got every single thing that I love and adore and makes me the person I am today is from here and being in the Orlando area and the Kissimmee area. So yeah, I suppose that's why I moved to Florida. They are the reasons why I was drawn to moving out here. And another question that I have been asked is, what do I do for work? Was it easy to find a job? As I mentioned earlier about my nan and granddad owning a property management company, that is currently what I work in. So I go out and clean the pools, which I thoroughly enjoy. I get a workout, I get a tan. It's nice working for my family as well. It's very just an intimate company, so I love that. What do I miss the most about England? 100% my family and my friends. My dad, my sister, the doggos, like my dad's doggos that he has, Ronnie and Harry. I miss my dad so much. My sister, my nan, like my grandparents over there. My family and my friends are by far what I miss the most. If I could just like pick them up and plop them all over here with me, then that would just be perfection. But obviously it can't happen. I can't do that. Luckily, I've got such amazing friends who are in England that they come out here and they visit over here. We go to the parks together when they're over. So I like to think that in me being out here, it gives them an opportunity to be able to visit Florida and vacation to Florida on a budget in a sense, because their accommodation's provided for, because they'll just stay over here with me. I went back to England in March for 3 weeks and that was wonderful, getting to see my dad, my sister, my niece, my nephew, so my sister's kids. I got to see them as well. And moments like that, I think since living out here, being long distance from relatives, from friends, just makes you appreciate the time when you do get to see them even more so. On to the next. This is a good one. I really like this question. One thing I prefer over here in the United States to England and then vice versa. Over here, something I prefer than in England, probably got to be the food. If you've come over here on a vacation or a holiday, you know that the food over here, it's on another level. The portion sizes, the flavour of the food is just on another level, and the amount of food options, for me that's a big thing. The food options over here are endless. When it comes to fast foods, restaurants, the options that you have within the theme parks are crazy. I'd say the food over here has got to be something that I prefer than in England, but I will say some British foods that I do miss are Nando's, a Sunday roast, and a full English breakfast. I mean, I don't usually get a full English breakfast because I don't get the black pudding, the tomato or mushrooms, so maybe half English breakfast, if that's even a thing. But those things I do miss very much when it comes to British food. Vice versa, so something I prefer in England to Florida. Honestly, I would probably say countryside. In England, you've got a lot of hikes that you can go on and like hills that you can walk up and do walks on, of course, weather permitting, if the weather is good enough. Good Friday, they call it in England. You can go on a walk up a place called Rivington Park. That's what I would do when I was younger. Yeah, I would maybe say that is maybe something I prefer and miss in England in comparison to here, because the gradient in Florida especially, like, it's flat. You go on a walk, you are not going up a single hill. The most hills you get in is on a ride at Disney or a ride at Universal. Apart from that, if you are going on a walk, your gradient is staying like this. There's no steepness and there's no hills, so it would be nice if there was more countryside over here where you can go and do your hikes and stuff like that. One thing I love about Orlando that might not be obvious to others. For me, one thing that I love about living here, and it probably is obvious to others in a sense, but not spoken about enough, is the extent that people in America go to when celebrating holidays and how much that they romanticise life all year long. Over here, they do that to a whole nother level when it comes to Halloween, Christmas, Valentine's Day, 4th of July. So many of these holidays that they celebrate over here, they just take to another level. Furthermore, going into that, I love movies so much. One of my favourite things to do is do a solo date to a cinema and go and watch a film. Oh, I love that so much. Get a good old slushie and a little treat and like a little popcorn and then sit in the cinema. Over here, whenever there's a movie out and they know it's going to be a big movie, so say for instance with Barbie, Wicked, Revenge of the Sith just came out for its anniversary, like it re-came out. When it comes to movies being brought out over here, people celebrate them so much. So with Barbie, we all dressed up in pink and we made like a full day out of it. When it came to Wicked coming out, I dressed up as Elphaba, and that for me, getting to romanticise little small things like that, but not only me just doing it, but everyone doing it. Everyone was dressed in pink for Barbie. When I went to watch Revenge of the Sith, everyone had on the best Star Wars t-shirts ever. People walking into this cinema wearing Jedi robes, people dressed as Padme, Princess Leia, you name it. I am constantly in awe walking around. Any day of the week, there's always going to be someone who's romanticising something or celebrating something. I would say that that's my favourite thing about living here that might not be obvious to others. On to an exciting segment of the questions, which is of course Disney. I can talk about it all day long. Ask me a question about Disney and I will chit chat for hours. A Disney attraction that has grown on me. That was a good question. Thinking about it, I would honestly say People Mover. Magic Kingdom, the Transit Authority, People Mover. That is because when I was little and I would go to the parks, I would never dream of going on the People Mover. When you're a kid, you want to be go, go, go at the parks all the time. But then the older that I get, the more I appreciate the People Mover. You're walking around the parks, it's all chaotic, and then you go onto the People Mover and you just get to, like, breathe, chillax, take a minute, take in the scenery, especially if you go on the People Mover during the fireworks as well, Happily Ever After fireworks, when they're on and you're on the People Mover. That in itself is such a surreal experience. So if you are vacationing to Florida and you've watched Happily Ever After enough times in front of the castle, take a ride on the People Mover whilst you're watching Happily Ever After fireworks. So wonderful. So I would say that that's the attraction that's grown on me the most. It's just such a chilled out, nice escape. That's the word for it. Like a good escape from the parks when you're getting quite overwhelmed with it all. Take a ride on the People Mover. Another Disney question. Which princess do I think I am most like? When it comes to Disney princesses, I've got 3 that I think that I resonate with the most and that I kind of share the mannerisms of or am most like. First one being Alice from Alice in Wonderland. I think when it comes to Alice, her curiosity of life, The fact she's always in Wonderland, she's always kind of in a world of her own, where she makes like her own little whimsical rules, things like that. And obviously Alice is British, so that's another reason as to why I feel like I resonate with Alice a lot. I think when it comes to maybe mannerisms, how I act, when it comes to maybe confrontation as well, I would say I am a lot like Anna in Frozen. I love Anna so much, and there's so many character traits that Anna has, and I'm like, wow, maybe I am Anna in another life. She's a hopeless romantic. I love love so much. There's that. She's the younger sibling. I'm the youngest of my siblings. She's quite, you know, all over the place. She can go on many different tangents. So that's another reason as to why I'm like Anna. Her bubbly, enthusiastic side of her, I think I share a lot of that with Princess Anna. And my favourite Disney prince is Kristoff as well. They're my favourite Disney couple. So I see a lot of myself in Anna. Last but not least, when it comes to princesses, girls who I feel like resonate with me is good old Tinkerbell. I think maybe Tinkerbell is the one who I'd say I share the idea of I'm quite small in height. So perhaps there's that. When it comes to maybe appearance-wise, I would say if I was doing a character bound at Disney, I would always love to do a Tinkerbell one, because I think that maybe I share the most character traits with Tinkerbell, the most kind of appearance-wise I share the most with Tinkerbell. Love attention. Yeah, maybe Tinkerbell as well. I like a little sprinkle, a dash of Rapunzel as well, with, again, her bubbliness, her like curiosity in life, her adventurous side. When she's got a dream, she sets herself to it. She's very ambitious in life. Who is my favourite Disney character of all time? So this obviously excludes the princess side of it, which I've just spoken about. My favourite character of all time when it comes to Disney. This little cute sad donkey who I just absolutely adore the bones of. It's Eeyore. I love Eeyore so much. Reasoning why I love Eeyore so much, and I don't want to get too emotional about this, but he reminds me of the first dog that I had, my childhood dog Kobe, and he just reminds me so much of him. That's why I just hold such a special place in my heart for Eeyore. He's sad in the movies, but there's so much more to him than that, and he's just always like, oh no. If you've got pets, if you've got dogs or animals, and I hope I don't sound absolutely bonkers saying this, but I have voices for my dogs. I have voices for every animal I see. But Kobe, when I was little, when I had him as my childhood pet, he had Eeyore's voice. He was like, oh no, I'm Kobe. Like, he was very, oh, like he would, that was his mannerisms. So Eeyore just has always been the character who I just love the most. Which character breakfast do I rate the most? I can only have one answer to this because I've actually only dined so far at one place. I've dined at places when I was little, but I can't give you a review on that because I was too little to understand how to do ratings on food reviews and whatnot. The one character breakfast in which I have done, I loved so much, and I don't know if I'd be able to top that because it was Crystal Palace, and of course that was where you meet the 100 Acre Woods friends. I did that for my birthday last year. It's the only place on Disney property where you are able to get the churro Mickey waffles as well for breakfast. They were delectable. I loved them so much. In the future, I would love to do Ohana, I would love to do Chef Mickey's. I mean, honestly, I would love to do them all, but I don't know how long it would take for me to do them all. My favourite park and why. If you know me, you know that I'm an Animal Kingdom girl through and through. That park is my go-to. It's my comfort park. It's my happy place. If ever I feel like I'm not feeling the best that day, I go to Animal Kingdom and I ride Flight of Passage, I go into Pandora, I head over to my favourite hidden gem within all of the Walt Disney World Resort, which is Rafiki's Planet Watch. If you haven't already, then please go over there. You can get there via the train that you'll hop onto, and it takes you over to Rafiki's Planet Watch, where you've got the conservation centre, the animation experience, the little petting zoo that they've got. Animal Kingdom, all in all, is my favourite park. That's not to say that I don't love all the others so much too, but if I had to choose, it would be Animal Kingdom. I like this question as well. So this is my favourite roller coaster. If you've been to Florida, to Disney, a lot of people will agree with me when I say this. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is easily my favourite roller coaster favourite ride of all time. Honestly, I don't know if you would class it as a roller coaster. For me, I would say it's an immersive experience ride, perhaps. In that case, if I had to choose my favourite roller coaster being like an outdoor roller coaster, it would have to be Velocicoaster at Islands of Adventure at the Universal Orlando Resort. That would have to be like my favourite outdoor roller coaster. This is a question with quite a lot of depth to it. My perfect Disney day. This might be a bit of a long-winded one, so you might want to put it on ×2 speed or something along the lines of that. Would start off at Animal Kingdom, of course. I mean, it opens the earliest, so it's only right that you start there. Would go in. I would head over to Koo Safaris and start the morning off with a coconut coffee at Koo Safaris. Head over into Pandora. I would ride Flight of Passage. And then after I've got off Flight of Passage, I would go into Satuli Canteen and get myself the French toast that they have, which I still haven't got to try yet, but it's been on my to-do list for so long now. I would then take a ride on the Kilimanjaro Safari. After I've got off the Kilimanjaro Safari, I would head out of the park, and then I would probably go over to Epcot to ride Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. I would have a wander around the World Showcase, go into Remy's, do single rider, go on that, have a quick little ride around. After doing Epcot, walk from Epcot out of the World Showcase and take myself to the boardwalk. I would have a stroll around the boardwalk after I've been in a couple of the parks that morning to just have a bit of a breather. Maybe check out the merch in some of the shops at, Yacht and Beach Club, at the Boardwalk Villas, maybe even go into Swan and Dolphin for a bit and just have a little mooch around there, a little nosy around there. What would I do then? Oh, I would then walk from the boardwalk to Hollywood Studios. I would do single rider for Rise of the Resistance because that's probably my third favourite Disney ride. It goes Cosmic Rewind, Flight of Passage, and then Rise of the Resistance. Probably do Tower of Terror because I love Tower of Terror. It's such a classic, like amid the glitz and the glitter of Hollywood. Oh, I would go into Galaxy's Edge at some point at Hollywood Studios to, of course, treat myself to the Black Calf Cold Brew. What a bloody drink that is. I love the Black Calf Cold Brew so much. Top tip, ask for it with extra toppings if you do get the Black Calf Cold Brew in Galaxy's Edge. I think that's like kind of it for Hollywood Studios. Then I would bus over to Disney Springs. My goodness, this is a long Disney day. This is like rope drop till park close, by the way. Go to Disney Springs and watch a movie at the AMC, of course. I love a movie. That would be a nice little break as well, where I'm just able to relax, immerse myself in a film for a couple of hours. Probably treat myself to a Gideon's before going into there with a nice little cookie. After that, from Disney Springs, I would bus it over to Magic Kingdom to finish off my evening there. I would take a ride on the People Mover. I would watch Happily Ever After. And then, dependent on like wait times, maybe like finish off the night with a ride on Space Mountain. I love Space Mountain so much. Yeah, I think that would be my jam-packed, full kind of Disney day. If I could have a perfect Disney day, that would be it. I would be absolutely shattered though, wouldn't I, after it? I would need at least 2 days to recover after that Disney day. Favourite Disney movies, favourite Pixar movies, and favourite Disney Channel shows. I don't necessarily like have a number one favourite, but here are some of the shows that I used to watch and used to absolutely love and I still watch to this day. Hannah Montana, Wizards of Waverly Place, Phineas and Ferb. Oh, I loved Phineas and Ferb so much. Austin and Ally, Shake It Up with like Cece and Rocky. Ant Farm. Oh, I used to love Ant Farm. Everybody's got that thing, something different with your way. On to Disney movies, which are my favourites, and same with Pixar movies. I wrote here for Disney movies because I was trying to have a think about my all-time favourites. I've put Christopher Robin being my number one favourite. I love Christopher Robin and all the characters within Christopher Robin. Alice in Wonderland, I love it so much. Peter Pan, Beauty and the Beast, Tangled, Princess and the Frog, Lion King, Moana. Honestly, I do love all Disney movies, but they were the first ones that I kind of thought of as to being my favourites of all time. On to Pixar movies. It might actually be my favourite. So underrated, it has to be Pixar's Soul. Soul is in the kind of newer generation of Pixar movies, but if you haven't watched it already, then you need to. Soul is such a beautiful movie, and the message within the movie for me is just what makes it even more incredible. All the Pixar movies that I love so much, Toy Story, the second one in particular is my favourite of all the Toy Stories. I've put Coco, Encanto, Inside Out and Luca. They are just some of the Pixar movies that I absolutely adore. Finishing off this Q&A with this question, which is my plans for the future, dreams, aspirations, etc, etc. When I was little, I used to want more than anything to be a pop star. I grew up with Hannah Montana, quite literally, she was my icon. I looked up to Hannah Montana so much. I used to stand in the back garden and be like, everyone, watch me, listen to me, I'm going to be singing Best of Both Worlds from Hannah Montana. My parents must have been so fed up of me as a child. Sorry if you're watching, Dad and Mum. So yeah, when I was little, it was always being a pop star. The more I grew up, I was always a theatre kid and I loved performing. At college, I did musical theatre for a year and then I went on to doing acting, on stage acting for 2 years, and that included a bit of singing and dance as well. So that's always kind of been the back burner, doing performing arts and getting back into that. Since college, I did have a bit of a break from it. As you know, if you are kind of in that industry, it's a very competitive industry. So many people who are just so talented out there, so it can be very competitive. It can also affect your self-esteem, I suppose. So it's something that I'm not doing at the moment, but perhaps I might get back into it at some point. Also adore is animals. Like, I may be working with animals in some sort of capacity. I've always said if I could work at Disney, then I would love to work at Animal Kingdom, kind of behind the scenes, studying zoology, working on rehabilitation of animals, making sure that animals are okay and they're kept nice and safe, looking after them. So that's another kind of industry or career pathway that perhaps I might go into. I am still quite young, so it could be. I mean, a dream in itself, if I continue as I am on YouTube and posting on Instagram and TikTok, something that I just adore doing anyway, that would be an ultimate dream. So who knows what the future might hold, but all I know is that for now I'm loving working with my family in their company, creating content and sharing the magic for you all to see. On that note, I suppose this concludes our Q&A, get to know me, how I moved to Florida YouTube video. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching and thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video. I can't wait to share more of the Disney Florida theme park magic with you all in future videos to come, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!